typing and just has a great attitude. And so anyway, I would just say that just keep her in your prayers.
We will.
Great attitude and just persevering, and I just admire her so much for what she's doing.
Dr. Lamb, that's the one that was in my class and ended up having to drop, and that's the Dominique. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you and I were hunting last week. Yeah.
Right. Uh-huh.
I recognize that. We were able to find her. Well, prayers for her and for her perseverance, and hope she gets better. Speaking of getting better, Mark, we're glad you're with us tonight. I hope you get better.
Too. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you, Joe.
Good. You know, it's a tough time. I know, Mark, you remember Lisa Oates.
Yeah.
Lisa had joined us in the organizational leadership doctoral program this fall, and she's had to leave us. I think her mom, you know, she's her caregiver. I think she's not doing well.
Sorry to hear that.
So it's a tough time for everybody. Everybody just has to be safe and do the best you can. But we will soldier on. So that's kind of what we do. So let's look at the agenda that I sent out a while ago. Let me share my screen and pull this up. We'll look at that.
And Dale, I started recording.
Excellent, thank you. All right, so I think we got the textbooks taken care of today. And I hate to go into, you know me, I hate to tell a long-winded story. So I did the staff development for the new textbook ordering system. Now, why they thought a lady who couldn't hand out keys could run the bookstore, I have no idea. I didn't see the connection there. There was a lady that used to, her entire job was to hand out keys to offices. And we'd go as a group, and when we all came back, it was just like when Rachel gave coffee on the TV show Friends. Everybody had to trade and get the right one. Every time that's what we had to do with the keys. Now, for some reason, they thought she could, or, you know, the first fall she went and everything seemed she was really happy and fine. She went in August, and then in January, when nobody got books, she didn't know that you had to actually order books in order for the students to be able to get books. And so nobody got books last spring. And the best part was the email that she put out, which was, "It has not gone as well as I had hoped." And I thought, well, the only way it could have been worse is if you'd wet your pants and burnt the building down. That's not, you know, it's kind of in the title, the bookstore. So in that theme, we did a staff development week before last on the new textbook ordering system. So she wouldn't have to do that. She contracted with this private firm, and we did a staff development. So I came online, and half of us, our link didn't work. The other half whose link worked, there was no library. And the fellow who was doing the staff development said, "I just sell this stuff. I don't know anything about how to make it work," which I thought was the only truthful thing that was said all afternoon. So it came out Friday. When I got the email on Wednesday, that's what I thought it was, but they had sweaters on sale at the bookstore on Wednesday when I got it. So that wasn't it, but it did come on Friday. And so I was able to get in on Friday. And so I ordered all of mine and 603s. And then this morning at 11, it came back online for me to order. So I ordered everybody's 603 for the spring. That'd be Jackie and Karen, and Rachel. I've ordered 603s. And then Steve, he thought he didn't need a sweater either. So he had to go back and retrieve his from Friday. And so he got the 605s ordered. And then Anita, she didn't need a sweater nor a hat. So she went back and found hers from Friday. And she ordered the 602s and 604. And I talked to Malia a few minutes ago, so she's good. And then I called Danny today. And Danny did need a sweater, but he got it from Belts. But we found his email anyway. Which is a true story. And we got all the 601s ordered today. And Jeff Church, he's like shot big and tall, so he didn't need Belk. So he actually got the email on Friday and ordered it. So that long-winded story to tell you, it's been quite an ordeal to get textbooks for the spring. I think we've got enough ordered. Now, that doesn't mean they'll show up. It'd be like this semester they didn't come. But at least if you know that this long-winded story is to trigger your memory in February when students are tearing our head off about not having books like they were in September of this year. I've done all I know to do. Quite seriously, I've done all I know to do. And I whether we'll get any books or not, I wouldn't bet that we'll get any books, but we'll try.
And Dr. Lamb, for 601, we also are going to put on the required book list the 7th edition of the APA. So
Right.
they will get it up front, and it won't be something that they'll have to wait on and search it out. So it's going to be on the required book list from this point on.
Yeah. So we ordered the full one that they'll need if they go to the doctoral program. So they might whine a little bit about the cost differential. It's not but like $12 difference. So, but we are having them buy, instead of the quick reference that we would normally be able to use, we've gone ahead and required that they get the full edition. I'll have to rebuy it later on, which leads me to the notion here on textbooks. We accelerated a lot of ours that are in 605 this semester. So I'm not sure, but we need to remind the ones who are in 605, the add-ons, of the potentiality of them to come back and do their second master's degree, the cert to MELS. I will tell them that on November 16th, which is the next thing on our list is our dates. Our final legacy town hall will be on November 16th, and I will share with them, that they can come back and take the 2 courses, 602 and 604. I'll also cover all the deadlines, which the first task stream for their 6 evidence is the 23rd. Their final for everything to be done is 2 weeks later in task stream on the 7th, because commencement's on the 12th. I called Luann today. I did not get her. I talked with her one day last week. We're still not sure what's going to happen with that. With commencement. Hold 1 second. I'll be right back. I don't know if you watched commencement on Saturday. I don't know what's going to happen with the commencement in December. The one on Saturday was not well received. It was a pre-recorded, and then they just ran everybody's name across the screen. And if they had sent in a picture or a little blurb, and not too many did that. And so the feedback on that was not positive. I hope they won't let that persuade them to try to do something in person in December, but you never know. So right now I don't have any information on that. But for those of you teaching 605, if you have, we don't know what's going to happen at graduation, but if you have some that want to come back for their master's degree, please remind them that they can do that and take the 2 courses. I think all the evidence is, I think everything is we're pretty much where we need to be on everything. That only leaves the last thing, which is the spring schedule. And so I'm projecting that we'll get 4, possibly 5 add-on classes in the spring. And I'm projecting we'll only get 1 regular class in the spring, which is, we're holding up pretty good considering they're not being able to do any recruiting. We're probably doing most of our own recruiting word of mouth right now. They're only doing video sessions and they aren't getting very many people. But the numbers look pretty good. So somewhere between 4 and 5 add-ons and 1. And then We'll have all of these 603 sections. These new, I've got, see, Anna's not in the mix. Hunter, I've got 4. It's according to which ones of these, if they ever get them in Blackboard training, get through, I'll put them. If they don't, I'll get some of our regular people to coach with you folks. I'll take one. We'll give one to Doug, one to Rachel. Tobias and Whitaker, you'll have Lisa coaching with you. Karen, you and Terry will work together again. Dr. Sanders will do our 604 and she'll do a 602 with Malia. And then Steve will have the 2 605s. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, actually 5 new folks. Anna's just going to make visits and grade probably eventually. Some of these other folks, I'm training them, like one for EDLS, a couple for EDI. We'll train them. I don't know that they'll ever teach for us or not. And if they do, that's fine. They're all principals. We got folks in the pipeline. It's taken us since March to try to get some people trained. You know, Doug, I know Doug is, he's working some for MTLCI right now. We're sharing with some other programs because you have to have enough enrollment for them to spend the money to put the people through the process. And so since we're the only one that really has the enrollment for everybody right now, that's fine. But we get some new folks come on. We may be able to use some of them down the road, but I'm not displeased with the crowd we got, but we always got to get some people waiting in the wings and train some folks for some other programs. So that's the schedule. If you have any issues or problem, let me know. We had to make one arrangement because of the potential for extended day in some districts this spring, and so I had to do a couple maneuvers on that. Those of you who actually have a real job that are working every day, I know you got to work around your job. But I think other than that, been a very successful semester so far. It's been very stressful in terms of people's health for everybody. I don't actually have stress. I'm just a carrier. But for most normal people, it's been very stressful because of folks' health. And I know that it's been stressful on you and family and all of the issues, but we've done pretty good. I don't really have any complaints. I just hope that we will maintain our vigilance and not go crazy here because we can, and back into school too quick or do things that aren't healthy for the folks who I watched the national news today at lunch to try to find out why the stock market was crashing. And one of the stories was number of children, cases of COVID in kids under age 10 is just going crazy in the country. Well, that's because they're all back in school. So we'll see how that goes. But I have no answers. I have no solutions. But
Now, are we going to probably do CC1 visits virtually again in the spring?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. I was hoping you would say yes.
Absolutely. I'm not putting people in schools right now.
Thank you.
I mean, that my point, that led to the point is, a lot of elementary kids have it. Especially elementary kids have it. And for some reason, I noticed, who was it today I read went to phase 1. I think was that Greensboro or Winston, where they moved to a different phase with more kids coming to school today. I thought, are you not paying attention? COVID cases are up in 46 states. We've had all-time 7-day high. And why are we coming back to school other than because we want to? Because mamas are screaming and yelling and don't want to have to keep them any longer. Well, now you know how we feel when we get them. But they're all gifted. If you don't believe it, just ask their mamas. So, but I think they're beginning to understand what we have to deal with. And so, but that's what's happening now is it makes no sense. We're opening up more and the cases are up. And so I'm not going to take the risk of putting anybody on the road. So we're going to just make visits in the spring. And at some point, I'd like for us at some points to go back. I'd love for us to go back making school visits again. I think that's a really kind of one of those differentiators in our program. But if we can't, we can't. But we'll do what we have to do. But I'm not putting anybody at risk. I'm not happy with that.
Al, I have a question.
Yes.
Those 605 students that might want to get the second master's, what will their plan be? Will they take both of those courses in the spring or only one?
They can do whatever they want to. They can take either or both.
Okay.
What we do is 604 is not in the spring. We have one 604 and two 602s, so they can take either or both. Now we ask that sometimes we have to do course by arrangement, but we don't have to in the spring. We're good. We've got a 604 and a 602, so they can do 12 hours or they can do 6. Now remind them there's no clinical work at their school. There's no hours there. There's no task stream. They just take the 2 classes.
Right.
Don't have to do group work. Don't have to do peer reviewing. Nothing to do with task stream. Nothing to do with 80 hours. No clinical at their building. Just take the 2 courses and get their master's degree. They can take both at once or either one, whichever they'd like to do.
Okay.
I think we have 8 this semester. We normally have between 8, but since we pulled 18 out of this group to go to the doctoral program, that may cut down the number, and it may not. We may have some, but we'd love to have some more of those. As one of our program initiatives, and we're working on a couple other things as well. So we're mostly trying to strengthen our doctoral programs right now and their numbers, which will help our numbers. And so we have a couple of things going with that's going well. So we're always trying to figure out do a little bit better. All right. Questions? Anything? Group? Everybody happy? Or as happy as you can be?
Happy.
Good. I am too. I was giggling a while ago, but I got myself under control. But pretty happy. All right. I think our time is up. Steve, if you were recording, if you'll shoot that to me tonight when you get through with it, I'll post it for everybody to see. It's good to see everybody. I will see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Everybody be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to vote, everybody.
I already voted.
I already voted.
Early voted.
Me too.
Yes, Romy and I went together after school one day, Dr. Lamb.
Good for you. My wife and I, I'm at home on Mondays before I leave and stay on all week. Last Monday, my wife and I went, and we were there 25 minutes from start to finish, which was great. The town
Romy and I
hall
walked
here,
right in, didn't even have to wait.
we went over to the town hall, and they had everybody spaced out. And we went in and voted, and we're in and out in 25 minutes. And there was only one nitwit there who made a big scene of taking his mask off before he left, and walked back through everybody. You came in one way and exited out the other. He had to make a big scene out of taking his mask off and walking back through everybody.
Of course he did.
That was his political statement.
So there was that.
Yeah. But other than that, and the fellow who's normally there, John Bradford, he was there. He's the one I about got in a fight over at the shooting range over. I told him he was over there, had his makeup on. He always puts makeup on for the TV. That bunch at the shooting range don't want to hear that. He's part of their crowd. That does not make them happy. But he was there with his makeup on, but he's always pleasant. But that was the only thing. I mean, seriously, John Bradford runs for the House. He is conservative, but he's very telegenic, and so he wears TV makeup all the time.
Yes.
to the consternation of his bunch. But other than, that causes a little titillation sometimes. But other than that, which is normal, the only thing that we had to go bad was the fellow who jerked his mask off and dove down the line, before they could get him steered the other way, just to, to show his disdain for.
Well, and I'm just going to just tell it because she doesn't care. Romy and her whole family had COVID this summer. And she and I are together, all the time, in the car and everything. But we wear our masks.
Yeah.
And I got it. And if I didn't catch it from her, and I had even gone to her house. If I didn't catch it from her, because I wore my mask, I watched, you know what I mean? And knock on wood, I could end up with it tomorrow. But, I just think that goes to show that what mask wearing and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Distance and wear your mask and wash your hands. And, that is our vaccination right now until a vaccine comes out.
It is. It is.
So I didn't appreciate that, but
no, I wouldn't have either. My daughter's school has one whole team. One person has it, and because I guess they didn't do what they should do, they are all now quarantined, and we cannot get substitutes right now. We have 111 vacancies today that were not filled. So none of that whole team at my daughter's school could get a sub. So they tried to put TAs in there, and then the TAs balked, and they walked out and wouldn't work. It was a full-on mess over there today.
Well, I said I don't understand why we're trying to go. The numbers are going up, but then we're losing our mind, and we're trying to force people back into schools. And this is not going to end well.
This is not going to end well. Nope,
no, this is only going to get worse. This is going to be to the point of revolt.
It is. It's bad. So anyway, so I'm hollering at everybody all day if they don't have their mask on during planning or something.
Absolutely.
I'm yelling.
Everybody needs to have their. Right. So,
Oh my gosh.
We just, we've cut down. We're coming in on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday in our office, and I don't come in. Steve comes in and out. Steve Laws comes in early. Jeff comes in the middle of the morning. Then I come in around lunchtime because our building clears out around 12, and then Steve Stone comes in later on during the day. We try to overlap a little bit of time, but we try to stay out when students are in. But even us, we wear our masks and don't go in one another's office. There's just 4 of us upstairs, and Anita, she's smart enough to stay at home. But even if people, you need to still, your protocols.
It's true. It just is.
We don't go to the lunchroom. We don't go to any buildings, on campus. We walk